Yes.
Oh,
Welcome,
okay.
welcome, welcome, welcome to Season
Oh
2,
my
Episode 11 of the
goodness.
Made in Dreams podcast. I am your host,
I'm itchy.
Mighty Vicious, here today joined by Jamie James the Emperor and
Hello,
our
everybody.
four lovely ladies. We got Apes on Fire,
Hi.
we got Zodira, many of you know her.
Hi.
J- we got JJNovots, of course. Many of you know her,
Hello.
especially in the Twitterverse, and we got ZellyBeanz, aka the Tardigrade. Right, right. We got
Yeah,
that right.
Salty tardigrade.
Yeah, there we go.
Underscore tardigrade.
Underscore.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as stated beforehand, let's jump right into it. We'll start with Apes on Fire. Just give us your rundown. Tell the people who you are.
Oh, goodness. Hello. Uh, my name is April. You can call me Apes, or Apes on Fire is my Twitch and my PSN name. That's how I know it on Dreams. And basically, I've been streaming on Twitch for about a year now. And last year, a friend of mine told me about Dreams, and I thought, I'm looking for a new game to play. So I started streaming that, and it's been really good fun. And I've met loads of new people. Lots of people have like come into the chat, and yeah, it's been really good. Some people have asked me to do some voiceovers in their dreams, which have been quite fun. Um,
Mm.
and I'm from the UK. I'm English, if you can't tell.
Oh, good old
Hello.
English.
Hello.
Now Jamie doesn't feel so alone.
I'm not alone anymore.
So, I mean, being that you came into Dreams, like, what exactly interested you in it? Like, was it just that a friend was like, "Hey, there's this new game," or did you have any? A lot of people we have on the show are like, "I've been here since the beginning," and what brought you in? Was it like, is your normal day job creativity, or did you just see it as an outlet? Like,
So I think I'd just seen some random like YouTube videos of people posted things that they'd made in dreams. I didn't get the game really thinking, oh yeah, this is now finally my chance to create my own video game, sort of live out some sort of childhood dream of like wanting to make my own video game. I didn't purchase it and thinking I'm gonna learn these skills. I'm probably like the least technical dreamer that you've probably ever had on your podcast and ever will have on your podcast. My main thing is that I like to play other people's dreams. So I've definitely been drawn into it from yeah other people's creativity and wanting to check that out really.
well, that's what I love about everyone that we have on today because all of you approach dreams, at least from my knowledge of all of you, you all approach it from a different angle. And I thought yours was extremely interesting because, as you said, like I've heard you say on your, lurking in your, in your Twitch stream, that you're kind of there as the player,
Mm.
and that's one of the demographics that people say we need to we need to increase the number of players as opposed to creators. So I found that really interesting, and that's why I guess I'm kind of pressing the point with you, which is just like, as the player, I guess I don't know. How was it to you? Like when you came in, was it just like, oh, this is a vast network of indie games and funny creations, or did you feel that there was a kind of like a wall for you as a player?
It's the game that just keeps giving. It never gets old. There's new stuff to play every week, and I always feel like so grateful for all these amazing creators just constantly, spending so much of their time and their creative energies making stuff that I can just sit back and enjoy playing every week. So, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, really. And I've really loved getting to know the community, becoming part of the community, as well as watching other people stream and play dreams, such as the weekly community challenges, the 30-minute
Mm.
challenge. High School Wars, like everyone's sort of doing their own sort of Twitch dreams shows now, which is really fun.
Indeed.
But as a player, yeah, I've grown up playing video games, always really enjoyed that. And I'd say within dreams, I have a special talent of breaking pretty much almost every dream that I play. I always seem to find the glitch, which I'm quite proud of. I
Okay.
quite enjoy when I when I find a problem in someone's game. I think the best one that I found was Lotta and Seb from Team Pig Detective were watching me
Mhm.
play Pig Detective 3, and like near right at the end of the game, I found a glitch, and they were like, "Oh my god, no one! This has never happened before. What have you done?" I was like, "I don't know." It's like, "I don't know. I pressed a button and I broke it." So
ApesOnFire, #1 game breaker.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Anti-dream hacktivist. It's basically.
That's a good.
So, all right. Well, let's move on and go on to Zodira. Zodira, tell us about you and your Dreamiverse. Oh boy.
Sorry, it's like
No, it's fine.
on the
It's fine.
spot. So I'm Zodira. I'm basically the resident Dreamiverse VTuber or V-streamer. I guess I should say, like, so I actually found Dreams originally many years ago when it was first advertised at like E3, because I used to play all of the little, like, I own every single Little Big Planet game, including Cardi. But I completely forgot about it for the longest time because it wasn't coming out on like the PS3, the PS4 been out for a while, and then randomly, something like 1 month before early access was about to open up, I found out about it and jumped in right then and there. I think most people know me for just like logic and voice acting, and I've had a lot of fun actually like meeting new people in the community and just all of the crazy characters that exist here in the Dreamverse. Is, I think out of all of the communities I've been in, the Dreams community is probably the nicest and most welcoming of them all. And
Agreed.
I mean, if it wasn't for Dreams, I probably wouldn't have seen to light some of my like lifelong dreams come to life.
Yeah.
Like getting into voice acting, but I wouldn't have gotten that if I didn't have the chance that I was given in Dreams. Just because I'm too chicken to do it otherwise.
Well, as a person who I wouldn't say I'm chicken to do anything. It's hard to get into voice acting unless you have a connection. It really is, as I've also ventured into that realm. So it's not necessarily an easily accessed profession to go into. So don't beat yourself up. And I'm glad you got to do that in Dreams, as it's one of the things that I guess we share, because I've always wanted to voice act, and yeah, it definitely gave me a way to do so. So awesome.
Yeah.
And
that was probably the best thing.
With the logic, Zodira, I mean, how was that for you? Was you drawn instantly to the logic system of Dreams, or was it something that you just had to figure out because of the creation you was making, or like what was your process with becoming the logic queen of Dreams?
Maybe Duchess. I don't know about logic. I guess the best way to talk about it was I was one of those, I guess, rare girls whose parents probably expected to go into STEM, but then didn't go into STEM because my entire mom's side of the family is all scientists or yoga instructors.
All right.
It's one or the other. It's like, okay, either you're going to teach people how to bend their body, or you're going to bend physics and become a rocket scientist like my grandfather.
Wow.
But at an early age, I just loved to take stuff apart. And my parents got really pissed off that I kept taking everything apart, so they bought me this like starter kit for like a science circuitry set to learn circuitry with. And I got to play with that up until a wonderful storm of Katrina rolled through. But I got to actually get back into that kind of stuff, like Boolean logic and things, thanks to like the Little Big Planet series. And I was one of those few people back in Little Big Planet 1 who was doing logic using physics and mechanics to make logic gates from scratch.
Wow.
So I would do all that, and so when it came to dreams, the main thing that I actually wanted to get into was the logic. That's the first thing I went into, and the first thing and biggest hurdle I had to go through was figuring out what was different between Little Big Planet and dreams. And there was a significant amount of things that was different. Like base bits of logic did the same thing, but the way they went about it was different. So sometimes I'd run into really weird situations and glitches and other things and stuff like, oh, I can't make my analog to digital converter the same way I did back then. I have to go a different route and completely rewrite it from the ground up, kind of thing. So my oldest stuff in the Dreamiverse is literally just logic, and that's all I ever did was pretty much logic until I got a couple voice acting gigs.
Awesome. Well, then we're going to get back to some of that because I do want to go more in depth with that. And for those that don't know, Zodira is part of the Dino crew. So like we're underutilizing her right now while we build stuff. But when it comes logic time, we're going to have her on and present to just talk to y'all about all of it. But let's move on to JJ. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Hello. My name is JJ. Am I lagging? Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Okay.
But most of y'all know me from Twitter or see me through Twitter. I got dreams actually just through YouTube videos similar to Apes because I was interested in it. And I got it and none of my friends got it. So I was just like, how am I gonna, because I had no skills in creating or doing anything, but I thought it was really cool. And I found myself drawn to wanting to share other people's works and stuff. And at the time, like last year when it like first came out to like buy, people were telling me like, oh, Reddit is the #1 place to go for these types of things. And I don't know why, but I absolutely hate using Reddit as a platform. So I was just like, is it on Twitter? Because I like Twitter more. And I saw that there was a smaller following on Twitter. And so, it's like, I want to become the #1 person for Twitter and dreams. And so what I started to do was share other people's stuff of content creators. And over the year I saw like people join Twitter and I got to share their stuff. And I mean, I'm sure there was like a following already on Twitter, but I was being a little arrogant there. But and so I just love and enjoy seeing other people's things and being able to share, and it's like a different way of like content curating instead of in dreams, like sharing it on social media and other platforms and stuff. And what I most enjoy about it is when people ask for help and stuff on Twitter, you get more of a response than you would Reddit, I think, in my opinion. So so yeah, I really enjoyed doing that over the past year, and want to continue to be a social media force.
Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I definitely agree. I think Twitter is where Dreams is at. The community.
I'm a #1 cheerleader. That's what I'm going to say. Above the people stuff.
I think the reason why Twitter is so fits for Dreams so much is that Media Molecule themselves are very active on Twitter. Like, you know, if you tag Media Molecule in something, if you come with a problem or, you know, you find a glitch or something, they're going to instantly reply to you and say that they're looking into it and stuff. You know, they are really on top of their Twitter game. So I think that's why the community seem to focus on Twitter, because, you know, that's where the people that made Dreams is at. And I think we've just managed to build like this small Twitter community now. There's all these different lists and you know, the hashtags are relevant. So yeah, I love Twitter for Dreams. It's pretty much the only reason I have a Twitter account anymore.
Yeah, it's the reason I made my Twitter account, because I was just like, this seems like the place where Dreams is happening, and I was like, I stopped using everything else just because I wanted to have a positive feed. I remember social media had become so negative that I was just like, I made the Mighty Vicious account, and then the only thing I follow is Dreams on that account. So like, it's only positive stuff, and it helps me personally in my life to not have to worry about a lot of the other things flying around on the internet. But I would like to say thank you to JJ, because back when no one knew who Mighty Vicious was, she was one of the first people that actually came to me. I was
going to say that.
Yeah, she was one of the first people that came to me and like actually started open conversation with me about things. So thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved your short film. Like, I was so invested in the short film, and I'm hoping that you continue that, because I was just like, you know, wow, you know, this dude has spent so much time on this, and I want other people to see it. And I thought the script was hilarious, and I loved it. So, well,
I'll remind me, and I'll tell you about that later. But I'm in the process of remaking it now, because I've learned so much since beginning that I can do it better, and I don't have to worry about data corruption and losing 8 months of work and then having to piece of film together out of scraps that I have for a background featurette. So, but yes, it will be continuing though, because that it's a story, and it'll actually go from a script instead of me freestyling everything. So yeah, but let's stop there and go to ZellyBeanz and tell us about you. What is your Dreamiverse?
Well, I wanted to make games like for a long time, and I wasn't like good at coding. Like, I wasn't good at computers when I was a kid. You know, I would just break things and not know how to fix them. I actually wasn't even really that good at games, but I like, you know, video games, but I was good at like strategy games. You know, I would play a lot of whatever, also everything. I play like all these board games with my dad. And then like at some point I came across like a coding thing, and I was making a game, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because I took one C course in college, and I was like, oh, not a coder. I hate this. Like, I don't want to be sitting in front of a computer all day.
I feel that.
Terrible. It's because it was C though, and like C is not a fun language to work with.
It's not fun.
It is not fun at all. But so then I'm like, all right, I'll learn JavaScript, you know, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I can make games with this. And then there'd be like some engine, but it was like very, very, like very limited. So I'd be like, oh, you know, I think it would be cool to have like shapes collide with each other and always know when they're colliding, even though there's a lot of them. And they'd be like, you got to build your own collider system for that. You know, like this, like 3.js doesn't handle that, like whatever, 2. I don't even remember. Like, all right, maybe learn an engine. So I would try like Unity, like I never progressed that far in it, because every time like I'd have all these ideas and I just want to build it, and it'd be like, well, first you've got to like fix this bug, and then like something won't install right, and now you got to download more things, and like it still won't work like what you intended in the end anyway. So like 3D Tetris will turn into like, okay, I can stack blocks, but sometimes like they end up inside each other and start bouncing around, and okay. Like they would just be half finished projects, and that was okay. Or I'd do a tutorial, and I'd have like a 5-minute game where you're doing something. It was just very unsatisfying. So I'd like, all right, focus on things that are maybe going to be more useful for me. Maybe games is not going to be a thing that happens. And then like on my birthday, I saw like open up Twitter and saw something about this dreams thing, and like, like it just looked pretty. Like just the art style, like that flecky, painty thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was a game, like whatever it was that I saw, just looked really awesome. Like, wait, there's a new game engine. Like, all right, I will try this, because I tried a bunch and kind of bounced off of them. So I got it on Valentine's Day, actually. That was what I asked for Valentine's Day, was just dreams. It was like, just download it, and just jumped right in. And that's when the Corona stuff was already starting here, but like we didn't know it. So like there was this week where like I was just like coughing like all day, like took off of work and just sitting there like coughing, like trying to use the controller, and it would like bounce, and I'd be like, oh, I lost my thing, because like the imp would move way off to the distance. It was so miserable. But that meant I got to put in like those solid like couple dozen hours like right away in those first few weeks, so I could get past like that early learning curve and actually be building things. And I just build everything.
Yeah.
Little things.
So I've noticed that you share some things on Twitter, but I feel like you're keeping a little bit back from us. Are you gonna no? Because I saw the troll jaw, or the goblin jaw thing.
And I got him like chewing,
Yeah, I really like that. And you were doing some experiment with trying to deal with the like how many puppets you can have on screen.
Yeah, so I made like a puppet, or it's not even rigged. Like there's no connectors. It's just like I made like a head and shoulders piece. I made like a upper arms piece and a lower arms piece, and legs. And then the legs, there's like sitting pose and standing pose. And then I made a face out of paint. So it's just, and I made it so that you could dress the guy. Like I found a couple different shirts that work with like just a little bit of scaling. You could just like pop it on the guy. So I dressed him as a peasant, but he could be dressed up other ways. So you could have your NPCs, like one sitting at the market stall, and then you could have his arms go up or whatever. Like I've put default poses so they can do like this. Because like you look at those Zelda games or something, you go into the village and there's people talking to each other, and they're, they'll be like, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, like lean forward. They're not doing a whole thing, but they're not just standing there either, because it looks really weird when that's happening. And if you do that with puppets, like your thermo just goes like crazy. Like you can't have that many of the puppet exist in your scene at the same time, even if you remove the chip, because there's all these apparently like hidden like laser pointers on their feet and stuff. So yeah, someone found that. They were like, why are there so many pointers here? And it's like, well, it's the foot collision. That's why like it can walk over like bumpy ground and not, do weird things. But my guy doesn't need to do that. It just needs his legs to do this if I want it to walk, little paddle legs.
Paddle legs.
Yeah. Paddle legs. Yeah. Now I'm trying to make a little hoppy guy. I want to make a foosball hooligan game. So I want to have like the little foosball figures that just sort of like bounce around, or maybe like they go like, kind of like a rolling, as they jump around. They're like, and like two objects would be like floating, like a beer bottle would be like kind of floating where its arm should be, and just like, yeah.
I like that.
If anyone wants to collaborate on this, this is the
Reach out to her,
reveal
folks.
of the big project.
Reach out to her,
I just
folks.
do little things.
Yeah.
Because I want to experiment all the time. Yeah. So if I commit to like one big project, I'm like locking myself in. It's like I already got what I wanted. Like I wanted to see if it's possible to do this thing. And then I'd make a scene. And then earlier on, like there were times like over the last year, be like, well, I can't leave it at this. I put so much work at creating this environment and stuff. I need to make this a game. So I would call it like level 1, and then I would even make like an intro for it with like a backstory, be like, oh, you know, like aliens have taken over and this is like the first step in this long journey that's going to be really cool. And then like, that's it. That's the end of the game.
Done.
Like
Moving on.
I abandoned it. So
And
I
done.
moved. Yeah. So now I do little things. It's like, you know, I don't need to be like, oh, it's okay that this game only took you 5 minutes to play. Like, rest assured, there is hours of content on the way. Like, no, I'm not a studio. I'm not like CD Project Red, like trying to decide whether, you know, to make their campaign like 20 hours or 30 hours. You know, it's like people want short experiences on Dreams. And now I've got more into making songs, which is like the ultimate like short. You don't even have to be playing Dreams. You could put a song on and like walk away and like do your chores and listen. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
And how are you finding the music scene on Dreams?
I love it. Like that was like the big change because I knew like I always wanted to make games and like I'd finally found that. And now that I've got Dreams, like I know this is a possibility. Like I could see myself actually like shipping something outside of Dreams someday. But with music, like I grew up studying the violin. Like I did choir and stuff from time to time. So I had the ear, but I never really learned that much of like music theory. And I didn't take any, like the classes I was taking was sort of like how to play the violin. I learned how to read music, but that's kind of where that ended. So I'd have songs in my head, but I didn't know how to get them out there. And then Dreams is hard to start with the music because you have to have those motor skills if you want to hit the buttons in sequence, you know. But,
Well,
do you not find the piano roll would be something that you would use?
Yeah,
to on
that's what like even now because I got a playtester job late last year.
Okay.
So I now like I'm playing video games several hours per day on weekdays while I'm at work, and then I'm still playing a ton of Dreams. So like now I've got like the fast twitch muscle and perception and all that you gain from that kind of practice. So now I have more freedom in that regard, but I still prefer like copying and pasting. Like I don't even use the draw tool that much because it tends to kind of like kick you out of it when you do stuff.
I do the same. I draw one note and then I just copy and paste off of that one note.
Lengthen it, make it softer.
So much easier.
And I do the Dream Sounds jams every week on Monday. It's on It's All Stars Twitch. And like that's such a great community. They're so welcoming, you know. Like I'll show up and be like, "Oh, hey Zelly," you know, like a bunch of emojis, you know. Just the way people are on Twitch.
That transitions us really into our next section, which was that like how has your reception been in the Dreams community? Like what and like I said when I was talking to you guys outside of the podcast, like this isn't a way to go negative or anything like that, but what has ultimately your experience been? Like a few of you touched on it as far as like finding your place in it, but also like I guess expand on that, like with ApesOnFire, like when you said a friend got you into it, which friend was this? Is this the friend that I think it is that's in the chat?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, no one who is part of the Dreams community. Just a mate of mine. I was like, "Oh, have you bought Dreams?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, check it out. It's pretty cool." Like, yeah, all right. Just
so
cash,
cash,
just like
so cash.
Right. But no, I mean, my experience within the Dreamiverse has been overwhelmingly positive. I've absolutely nothing negative to say. I was completely shocked that I was nominated for favorite streamer for an MP, which was bonkers because I'd only been streaming Dreams like once a week. I only stream it once a week on Fridays, and you know I've had all these lovely people just come to my channel and just hang out, and it's not that they just want to hang out with me, it's that they want to hang out with each other as well. So I really love seeing how all the dreamers also interact with each other whilst they're hanging out in the channel. And I quite like to think that it's quite an inclusive space and stream, and I always welcome people and say, "Hey, have you made anything recently? Like, there's 20 people watching. Like, let's check it out. Like, what have you made? Let's have a look."
Yeah.
Because I just want to see what people have done. I do say that, Visep, we've been checking out the community jam, and sometimes I am a little bit savage, I must say. I try not to be. I don't say like, oh, this is, like, I don't say anything too nasty, but if we're going through them, and you know how you're going through on a community jam, there will be some things that are going to blow you away. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, like this is an absolute amazing entry. And then there's maybe some other things that you're like, all right, next. Like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. All right. And
I've never seen I've never seen those moments, but when you were trying to water down that not trying to be negative part, I just imagined you like playing something and just be ill. and just moving. That's what I thought you were gonna say. I was like, oh man, she's about to do it right now.
Well, I do feel like I need to start being careful. It's so funny. So Andy Mation clipped me playing Kataya's entry to the latest community jam. I didn't know it was Kataya's, so we're going through all these ones, and I'm like, all right, next, and then we get to Kataya's, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. This I really like, and I didn't know it was his. And we played through it, and what was nice is that Andy clipped that and then showed Kataya. They then played it on their stream, so I got to watch them watching my playthrough of his game, which was so interesting because I've never seen that before. I've never seen anyone's reaction to my reaction, and it was so nice to see him say, oh, it's really great to see someone reacting to this game the way that I wanted them to, which is really lovely. But I think during that clip as well, like, we're going through the other ones, and I'm like, all the rest of these are garbage. But this one,
oh
like,
no,
this one is brilliant. And I watch it back, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to like tone it down a little bit.
All those hours everybody else put into their creations was just a waste of time because this one beats them all.
I know. Maybe I'm starting to get a little bit too comfortable with everyone in the community, but I also feel like that's kind of what they want. I asked them, I'm like, should I get this an upvote? Like, what do you think? Like, it's not, it doesn't exactly fit the brief, but I liked it. Like, what do you think? Should I give it an upvote? And then in the chat, they're like, no, it doesn't.
Oh
it's
God,
not exactly the brief. And I'm like,
savage!
okay.
Oh my
yeah,
God!
See, I don't know the way
I have not seen this side of Dreams. No, don't give a like.
See,
I mean, it's not. We're not giving dislikes. I think with the community jam, we just,
only because we can't.
If we're gonna put our
be all over that.
I think I like to think that, our stamp of approval as a community is a good one.
Yeah, it has to mean something.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just give an upvote to every single entry of the community jam.
See, I feel like you can. And I'm not just trying to be the opposite. But when I always, guys, I always bring it back to film because that's what I love. But like, I can watch any movie and it could be horrible, but I pride myself on always being able to see like, what is it that made the person or the people behind this give them the money to do this? And when it comes to Dreams, it's even less. It's even like, I don't know how to word that. I don't know why I started it that way, but it's with Dreams, it's the same way. Like, even if it's a meme, like, even if I've come across them, there's something where I'm like, this person's trying to convey something other than just their meme. Like, there's something there that they thought they could add to it. And I try to see that thing. And if I can see that thing, then usually I'll just be like, thumbs up. It doesn't matter my natural how I feel about maybe even your subject matter. But like I said, I'm not judging you on how you judge others. I'm just saying that's how I approach
I
dreams.
just
Sorry, I
think
didn't
it's with this specific. It's just with the community jam. I mean, if someone, like I said, if someone comes into the Twitch channel when I'm streaming and they say, "Hey, like I've done something. Like, can you check it out?" We're like, "Of course," and we'll watch it and we'll just or I'll give my honest feedback, but it will be like positive, constructive criticism. I'll be like, "Oh, I really love this. I really love that. I think maybe it could do with a bit of this. Would be good. Like I'd quite like that." There's no way that if someone came in and said, "Hey, can you check out my game?" I would then say to their face, like, "This is garbage." It's terrible.
So
I think it's with
Try
the jam.
again.
Yeah, but with the jam, the way that I see it is that an upvote, it's like you're giving someone an award, and I kind of feel it with the jam, because you have, at the end of the day, don't you have like the 10 which get the best ones? Don't pick the best ones, or the best ones get picked because they've had the most upvotes?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
See, I never
think-
thought that was how it worked, just because I feel like it would be a popularity contest, and I think they would safeguard against that. But then again, I could be completely wrong. So, I
No,
don't know.
jams are separate from
I think it's just by likes.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
the upvotes during the jam itself. And then when you
So
upvote, it
that's-
automatically likes, but that's separate. The thumbs up is separate.
So that's why we're very selective
Okay, good.
with our upvotes. And I say we because I ask the community as well. I ask the viewers. I say, "What do you guys think? Upvote or
She's
what?"
like, "I'm not gonna take all this heat. I'm gonna."
It's
No.
not even me.
No, I love it. I love it. And while I have not been able to see your streams as much as I've wanted to, I am lurking a lot more than probably you think. I just do it while I'm working. I'm on a lot of people's stuff and they don't know I'm there. But yeah. So I guess Zodira, like your interaction with dreams, like is there something that you found, or have you found it overly welcoming as everyone else?
Well, yeah, I found it pretty welcoming overall of just about any community, but it's kind of weird because like it comes and goes. Like I'll get really active in the community and people will talk to me every day, and then it just it kind of dies down. And there's barely any communication in the community, and then it picks up again, and then there's a lot of communication again. I think it's just kind of like the wax and wane of people actually having like new projects come into existence. And I'm making hand gestures in front of myself as if y'all can see it, and I realize y'all cannot see my hands. Some like drawing waves.
Well, with that, I do have a specific question for you. Why did you choose? Why do you choose to have an avatar represent you as far as the I guess your projection into the Dreamiverse? Because it's you do it for streaming and it's your your profile picture and stuff. Like, give us this backstory of this. Like, how did you choose this format to go with for you personally?
Well, originally I was actually planning on doing like live streaming with just myself on the screen. But with the setup I had in my extremely old webcam, there wasn't a way that I could set the webcam up where it didn't make me look wide, fat, or ugly. So
it's not working.
I hated every single angle, and I just thought I looked terrible. There were a couple initial streams in the beginning where I actually was on camera. There's been a couple times when I've gone on camera for a little bit, such as when we had that eating of that stupidly spicy ramen. Just to kind of be like, hey, look, I'm actually eating it. But I think it just kind of came out of like I was looking at ways to kind of get past the problem, and I came across kind of like a YouTube how-to video on how to become a VTuber, and this was without knowing anything about the horrors of the VTuber community.
I don't know about them.
What horrors? Tell us.
We need more info now.
No. I wouldn't be able to keep things PG.
Okay.
But no, you've got your wholesome and your lewd VTubers, and of course I'm in the wholesome camp, the ones who don't go lewdy. But I knew absolutely nothing of the community, so I went into it completely blind, just looked up tutorials, got it set up, spent a good, probably the first 2 or 3 months of me streaming was just me very slowly putting my avatar together. So the right skin, the clothing, eyes, hair. The initial hair was horrid, and making hair for these things is a pain in the ass, which is why I haven't had an update in ages. And that's why the only real difference you see is differences in like clothing. Though if you've ever caught me on one of my like streams where I'm playing either something really old or something scary, I'll have this kind of glitched out avatar, and it probably took me a month to just really get the hair right for just a recoloring the way I wanted to do it with all these negative colors and stuff occupying it.
Well, I like it. I've always been a fan of things like the Gorillas and other artists that use like this persona that they can push out and kind of keep a distance between themselves and and really the audience, but it's more like a creative, even maybe more realistic representation of that as they see it for how they present themselves. And I love it. So I just thought it was really interesting, and I have no clue how to do it. So I'll probably be looking it up after this.
I mean, just it does take a fair amount of like CPU power, like tracking with this can take anywhere between 30 or 60% of my CPU just to do the tracking.
Wow.
That's depending on which of like 3 programs I might use. So I have this is the program I use whenever I'm streaming off of my using like my Elgato with like a console or something, because then my computer is not dedicating hardware to a video game. But if the computer is dedicating hardware to a video game, I'll use a different camera, or not a different camera, a different program that can't track me as good as this one can. So like just this much, it would lose tracking, but I can do this and everything with it. But or sometimes you might even see it to where I don't even have this. I just have an image on the screen that represents me, which the current image I've been using was a drawing that Zypher drew a while back. So like, yeah, I'll use that if I have absolutely no power left over after the video game for like face tracking that won't be all glitchy and stuff. So, but I do like to mess around. The avatar itself, though, did cost some money. Yeah.
No, so it's a buy-in
thing. There's a marketplace for clothing, and
wow.
I put down. I think this was a free dress, but the lab coat one. There's a lab coat, a skirt, and shoes that I had to pay for. And They come with, their own little commercial license and everything.
Oh,
Not
wow.
a lot though. I
That's
think
so
like overall it's like
such a
$50 for everything.
How often do we get to see your avatar's shoes?
yeah.
Only if I'm dancing. And once in a while, if I'm streaming and I'm listening to music or something, and it's a lot of music and dreams, I'll actually open up a second face tracking program that I can actually tell not to face track, but to play animations. And I'll choose a dancing animation from it and just stick it in the corner, and that's a dancing
Oh.
Zodira in the corner.
Is your computer like Megatron's arm or something? Like, how are you powering all this?
This computer was built in 2013.
Mm.
Wow.
It's an i7 3770K and a GTX 680.
Wow, that's surprising that it actually runs after you say, like, sometimes 60% of the CPU is just down to tracking. Like, you're running on pretty old hardware.
It's just the tracking portion of the software. It uses a lot. And for whatever reason, and God knows why, like, for whatever reason, right now it's deciding, instead of using the typical 30 to 40% that the program would want to use, I do not know why. I'm going to find out why, but it's only wanting to use 7% at the moment. And I'm going to find out why, because I need to figure out what I did.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how we wrap it back around, because that's what makes her good at logic right there. Everything you've been hearing for the last 10 minutes is basically the thing that separates her from plebs like me when it comes to logic. She's like, I'm going to figure out why this 3% isn't going out of this 60% and it's not working 100% of the time. So awesome. And
probably the only person here who's got a monitor on their keyboard for like computer temperatures for everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you might be.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
JJ, let's move on. I guess how has the community been for you? You touched on it more than I think everyone when we were doing the initial run-throughs, but tell us, what do you think of the community and how has it been for you?
Oh gosh, I think it's been sort of very welcoming. Like when I first joined Twitter and stuff, everyone was so excited to be sharing their stuff, and I was so excited to be like retweeting it and things. I will say though that there's been times where like I feel like it's stupid drama that happens on Twitter, like. Gosh, there was like the whole controversy over like the music thing at first, and then that blew over. And then I knew we talked on the podcast for like season 1 about the VR and how that would like split the community, and a lot of people were worried about that. So like but I feel like overall it's been a very great place to like share other people's content, and I just enjoy doing that.
Indeed. I really do feel it comes down to what we talked about before, which is just growing pains. Like it's a brand new community, and every day people are breaking the walls of every piece of this game and even surprising media molecule. And as more and more people come into the fold and there become an ever-growing list of things that people would like to see or things being offered in the platform, it's always going to, never mind the sound of the dog dying in the background. I heard him over my headphones, but he's fine. I promise. But anyway, it's all growing pains. It sounds a lot of the drama of Dreams is more so just, it's everyone learning to get along. And it's even in the midst of the drama, except for maybe like 2 comments I've seen, it's all been about basically everybody getting along. And it always blows over as soon as we, whatever caused people to freak out stops happening. So it's all good. It's all good. And once again, shout out to JJ, because You know, she once again.
She really is like you really are like really active on Twitter. Like I would say you're probably one of the most active dreamers on Twitter. Like I always see you in my feed every day. Like, you know, JJ retweeted this, JJ retweeted that, JJ commented on this, JJ shared this. And it's so awesome to see that you are so committed to making sure that everybody can see anything and everything dreams related on Twitter as much as humanly possible. It's just so good, and you deserve an award for it, because you really are like an advocate for dreams. And it's just like my notifications are always full with JJ did this, JJ did that, and it's just like, damn, this girl is committed.
Yeah, everywhere.
As I was saying that, I'm wondering if that's like too annoying, and I'm like,
No,
no, seeing JJ on their feed.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like, there's loads of dreamers that I've actually found through your retweets. So, like, you'll retweet something, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, oh, I don't follow this person, so I'm like, instantly follow. Like, I would say you've brought me probably 80 to 90 followers that I've managed to follow just through your retweets alone. So do not stop it. Just keep going.
Heck yeah.
You're spreading the word, and it's working.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
Keep up the good work.
I have a question for JJ, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
How dare you? No, I'm just playing.
I know, I'm so sorry. You just take a break and taking over.
Awesome.
So I was checking out your creation, What's Your Fortune? Which is the one button jam. And I noticed that you had like so many different people's voices collab on that. So I just want to ask, like, how did you reach out? Did you just reach out to people on Twitter for that?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get everyone together?
Yeah, that's mainly what I did. I was just like, I messaged people. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm don't mean to be weird, but hey, do you want to do some voices for this one project? And I told them what it was about. And actually, I think when I did that jam, I was still like relatively new to Twitter. So I was very like wondering how many voices and responses that I would actually get back. And so I was surprised in that regard of how many people like thought it was a really cool idea and wanted to do it. And so when I put that together, it was very fun. But yeah, mostly that was just outreach through Twitter. I think I did a couple of stuff on the Discords too, like people's Discords asking. But it was mainly just Twitter. And then I think I shared the final result on Reddit, but like that didn't get anywhere. But so anyways, Twitter is the best, I think, option for doing that.
That's really cool.
I mean, like, that's just another thing about dreams as well that I'd love to just quickly mention, is that the word yes is seen so much in dreams. It's like, can you help me with this? Yes. Do you want to collab on this? Yes. Do you want to do voice acting on this? Yes. Do you want to do this on dreams? Yes. Like, people are just so open to doing things on dreams. And it's just so nice to see, like with JJ, you know, she reached out to all those people and got all those people involved in it. You know, it's so nice to see a community on a platform that is so open-minded to everything, not just their own projects. It's like a lot of people on other communities are like, oh no, I don't have the time, I'm too busy working on my own thing. Like, you know, it's all about me. Whereas with dreams, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, let's jump on that for 10 minutes and see what this is like. I just love that everybody is so open to just working on everybody else's stuff. It's great.
What I think what made What's Your Fortune successful too is that I was only asking for like a voice clip. Like I wasn't asking for like, hey, can you do like this 40-part animation sort of thing like for it too. Like I was like, hey, it's like one-liners and you can do it in any sort of style and like way that you want to do it. So like it made people like actually kind of want to participate too, because it was such like a fun thing to do for them. I don't think they felt like it was like a burden on them to do either. So I feel like that's like where a lot of projects succeed in that regard too, for like collaborations. They you know, you're actually interested and you want to do the project other than feeling like you have to do it.
Yeah. But it's like even people that are far too busy with their own projects to sort of commit to anything long term in regards to collaboration. You know, I've seen it loads of times where, you know, you ask people, oh, hey, do you want to, work on this, and like, well, I can't work on it full time, but I'm happy to spare you a few hours and give you some pointers, or or I'll just sculpt this one thing for you if you like. It's like, even when people are committed to their own projects full time, they still find the time to help out people within the community, and it's just really, really nice.
Well, I say thank you, Apes, for taking over. No, because no, don't apologize at all. Because a lot of times I feel like people, when they come on the show, they let us guide it. But I think the best shows or the best episodes that we've done have been where people take over. And because mostly a lot of you are here because I do want to hear from you. So if you have a question that you want to ask, or you have a topic that you want to get to, or something you want to talk about, tell me to shut up. I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to just sit back. So with that, I mean, lastly, before we, I guess, open it up, it would be Zelly. We went through everyone else. I don't want to leave you out. Like, your reception to the, or how you feel you were received, and to the Dreamiverse. Was it a refreshing thing for you, as it seems everyone else?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been great. Like, I think that's really helped, even just getting through these, like, how horrible last year was. Like, I didn't personally have a bad year because I was like making things in Dreams and like making friends online because of Dreams, so like it really just changed everything around in a lot of ways. And right at the start too, I was like, not so right first off, once I heard about Dreams, like, it came across my Twitter feed, I was like, okay, obviously I have messed up on Twitter, because I should have already been following the right people to know about this for like early access. So like then and there, I knew I have to follow like more creative people and more games people. And then like I would sometimes come across, in Dreams, I'd play a creation, like, oh, that's cool. Go to the profile, see a Twitter handle there, and join, or add them, whatever. The first person actually was Casey Jones, because I played the opposite day games, like just binge them over the course of the day or something. And it's like, oh, well, one of them, you're like married to him. So it's like, well, okay, this is my spouse. I better be following him on Twitter, That's the consummation, is the Twitter follow. And like I'm over 350 followers now, which is like, that's an inflection point. It's not the big scary ones where you can just go viral out of nowhere, but it's like enough, but like one thing that helped too was coming across all the Dreams stuff on Twitch, because I had this like period of time where my job was basically to go hang out at someone's house, and we'd just like sit on separate couches because 6 feet apart. And then, I help like when it was time to run errands or something, as people with disabilities. But, we'd be on our devices and stuff. Like, it was cool if I'm on my computer and there's, decent Wi-Fi and stuff. So they're like, well, I can't play Dreams. I can't connect through the remote play with this connection, but I can watch streams. So I'd be first off started with a lot of YouTube videos, because there's a lot of educational content there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I'd watch those things that are like the compilations, like 50 Dreams in a row that are awesome. Like, oh my God, people are so talented. This is ridiculous. But as I started following more and more people on Twitch, then I would see like the same people in the chat. And like, I would sometimes try to stream, but like not that many people would show up. And it's like, you know what? I have more fun anyway, just like hanging out in the chat, just like say random things too. Sometimes I'll be like behind the conversation, so like come out. Or like or I post the thing on time, but it's like responding to something that the streamer says, and then like 10 minutes later they're like, oh, let me read through the chat, and they're like what? like yeah, it made sense in context. But so like I don't feel like I've sort of just jumped in the community, just like inserted myself, like, accept me, and they're like, all right, we love you, ZellyBeanz. Like, cool.
But I think it's just such an easy community to get into as well, which is quite nice with Dreams. It's so easy to just find your place and be there and be part of it.
I think part of it is just like Dreams itself, like it encourages this like pro-social behavior, you know, like you made an element, well, you release it so everybody else can use the element. And like, oh, somebody used your element, we're going to tell you about it, so you can go right to their creation and like give them a thumbs up. And I give out a lot of thumbs up, not as much as Toronto Mayor, because my thumbs up means something. Like if I thumbs up your thing, I liked something about it, even if it's just like the audacity to do whatever like random thing. I will still give that a thumbs up, but I will not give it an upvote on the jam though. I got those standards. So we're gonna circle it back to that, because when you upvote a person, you are downvoting everybody else in a way. So
not
I
if
want
you
to make
upvote
sure.
everybody.
Well, yeah, I know, but then you're just canceling it out. Then it's like you're not voting at all in a way, but they're getting an extra like. But the thing is, after you view 5 things, then you can go into a different tab in there to see all those creations again and who did it. So a lot of times I will downvote, or not downvote, but like mark as irrelevant, or just like, you know, hover over the upvote and be like, nah, next. But I will notate in my head, like, oh, that one was actually really nice, you know, even though it like it's the one word jam and like there are, you know, lots of different words, and this is clearly just something that they made months ago and submitted to a jam for like the free upvotes. Like I might go back in just so I can give them a thumbs up, but you know, I don't want to upvote it because that's not helping those people who really worked hard for the last 2 weeks to make something for the jam possibly get into that top 3. And
I can definitely understand that.
And it's almost like a community thing, you know, like the jam voting, it's almost like a responsibility, you know, it's like, all right, I pick up my own trash, you know, I turn the lights off when I leave the room, and I only upvote the relevant high quality content on the community jam.
See,
like
I feel
duty.
so much better now. I feel
Yeah.
thank you. You've made me feel better. Like I was
Yes.
starting to feel a bit guilty about what I was saying.
Oh
No, you were doing
that wasn't my
Lord's work.
point.
Yeah.
Dang it.
And I was watching some stream where someone was like wanting to download everything. It's like only like the cream of the cream would get the upvotes. I'm starting to remember who it is. Someone like that's a thing you can buy with your like channel points, is like to take over voting. So they were just like, nope, down. Like,
see, yeah, Apes. I wasn't trying to do that before. That wasn't the point I was trying to make. But no, it's because I understand that it's more so goes to what I saw Nivi Artist put in the chat, where he was saying like, I don't necessarily like competition within art. And so that's that's my approach to it. Like, it's all art. I don't care about a jam. Like, I don't care who wins a jam or who gets more upvotes on a jam. So for me, my thumbs up, while I guess it still would, you know, go towards the things that y'all are saying, like, would be kind of like the negative aspect of it. It's just that as a person who doesn't believe in the spirit of competition, like me, like I don't believe in the spirit of competition in anything. So for me, it's just oh, that was cool. All right. Thumbs up. You created.
I think, yeah, but
that's a Dreams thing too.
I do think that there's a difference between, say, for the one word jam, for example, there's a difference between somebody making like a whole game, like something that's taken them the whole 2 weeks to fit the brief for the one word jam, and someone that's literally just uploaded a piece of text that is one word. Like you can't. I mean, it's all nice. It's nice to say like, you know, there's no competition between art, but
I definitely get
agree.
what you're. I definitely get what you're saying,
especially for jams, because you know jams are a lot different than just dream surfing and just hanging out likes on dream surfing. But like the jams, your like means something because you are the person as a player. You are voting for who you think should win the jam. That's kind of the point. So, like, you know, your vote is valid, and you shouldn't just be hashing out votes to everybody. Otherwise, everybody's going to win, and that's not the point of the jam. You know.
Also, the upvoting everyone. Upvote everyone only works if you do like the whole run, like every entry, because otherwise it's just like the 10 people that you happen to like. You know, like, oh yeah, community jam ends tomorrow. Okay, I'll watch some things. That could be it. the only people that get your votes, randomly chosen. I mean, my ancient times.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like most of the jams where people like upvote like everything, and like the categories and popular, and like not a lot of people like submit. You're gonna see ancient kit,
Yeah.
ancient kit, like over and over.
But I'll go back and thumbs up. Like, that's a really good use of the My Ancient Times. Like, wow,
Right.
you put like stuff in there, you know, especially if I think the person might be pretty new to Dreams. Like, I do not want to like quench someone's fire, because it, you know, it's tough to put yourself out there. Like, it doesn't become, once it becomes a habit, I think it gets easier. Like, oh, I know this is crowded, I'm still gonna like submit it because someone's gonna like it, you know. That's how I got involved in the music jams even. It's like, it's bad, but it's music. People like bad music too, as well as good music. Someone out there, like, no matter what I make, is gonna be like, wow, this is great. Like,
well, Magma said he believes there should be a different voting system, maybe a 1 to 10, not an upvote. Basically he's going for the old school, like what was it? I think it was the Netflix that started with the numbers and then went to thumbs up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be interesting. Yeah, I mean, as far as jams go, I definitely see the folly in the way I see things. As far as with the votes, no, I definitely, it definitely is, but to be fair, a lot of the times, because of the way I think, unless I find your thing on my own, I don't vote. I think maybe 2 jams I've actually gone into, watched, and then voted, other than just go into and watch. So, like, it's most of the time I don't grade anything unless I come across it, unless I'm like, someone's like, hey, check this out. And I'll be like, oh, hey, and I thumbs up. But I don't think I just go into, like, I think, like I said, maybe twice I've gone into the jam screen, like, watch them and actually thumbs up in the jam. So, I don't know.
I feel terrible.
Yeah. And it's more democratic, too. Because the other stuff, it is popularity contests. Like, oh, why did I see this thing? Well, because it already had a bunch of thumbs up, or, you know, a streamer that I like is watching it because, you know, someone who's in the chats is doing it. What?
I'm sorry, Casey. Casey said I'd pay money for extra super votes.
Oh yeah, I would think
that's how Media Molecule's gonna make money.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll pay $30 for a flat 1,000 votes. There.
You get a second sum if you pay.
Popularity is just as deep as your pockets.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, that's the way it works everywhere else.
You'll make me feel so bad. I think I've only voted and not even done all the entries in those in like 3 jams.
Oh, but you do other stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
you fulfilled your community responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually didn't even start playing Dreams games until like 8 months ago. That's when I started actually even playing anything.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, you are trying to recreate the Matrix in Dreams, so like, you know, we'll let you off with that, you know.
Oh no, it had nothing to do with any of that. It actually had to do with the profile leveling. I wanted mine to say design, and I didn't want it to say anything else. So for so many levels, I specifically wouldn't do anything but stuff that would go towards design, and it's why I have such a tiny ass level at this point. I'm like, I'm not gonna play stuff because if I play too many games, it's all of a sudden gonna just be play and not design, and I just feel like I gave up and I don't care anymore about the levels as I once did.
I think the level system in Dreams is pretty much irrelevant anyway, seeming as, you know, nothing is level capped in Dreams. it doesn't really make much difference anyway what level you are. I mean, all it really shows is how long you've spent on dreams, I think. Like, it doesn't have any significant value towards it anyway.
Well, you can
Like,
you can go to a profile that's like only level 20, and you can see all kinds of sculpts and stuff
Yeah.
that they've released.
yeah.
And then you can go to a profile that has like 1 or 2 things or nothing at all, and it's level like 200 or 300.
Yeah. I think it's more of a reward system for the person that's creating themselves to say, like, you know, you're getting better at dreams. So, like, you know, here's a new number. You've got better at something. I think that's pretty much what the leveling system in dreams is for. I wouldn't necessarily say it's, you know, to say, oh, look, I'm level 600. Look at me. You know, I think it's more of an in dreams thing to say, like, you know, right, you've like with me when I'm making music, if I do something new while I'm making music and try something different, I will level up. And you know, it's like, oh, okay, I did something good because I've leveled up. I've clearly learned something from that because I've moved from level 1 to level 2. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm looking at what's going on in chat, and I don't mean any offense by this question, but do you, like, when you see a creator that's like level 600, are you like, oh my god, look at him? Like, does it his level is so large?
Aren't only they people who are over 300?
His power level.
Let me tell you, if I see something on Twitter, if somebody shares their level that's like over like 500, I just immediately retweet, no questions asked. Just
I think the only time I shared anything was if shared my level was when I reached 100. And I'll probably do it when I reach 200. That's pretty much it.
I don't know how people do it, because I, like, even though I in the past haven't been able to like create for as long, you would have thought after doing like all of the stuff I did for the short film before it got deleted, you would think my level would be higher, but it's definitely not. I'm sitting here, people probably look at my level and are like, yo, he spent like 10 minutes on dreams this entire time. Yeah, I don't understand how people get to those high levels. Like, y'all must have like never turned it off or something.
Yeah, they don't sleep.
Oh.
They just in dreams
They
constantly.
know life dreams. They've got no other video games that they play.
Yeah.
They have no job, or they have a job and they just eat, sleep, work, dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do. If I got remote play working while I had the job where I like had that flexibility, I would have done it. Because like I would show, you know, I would show the people I was working with like what I was doing and stuff. You know, it'd be cool.
Well,
but I could show them videos of things. You know, like they all would think it's awesome. But, yeah. No, I do game stuff, so I gotta keep it separate. You know, work life. You know. But,
well. And now that I think about it, for those that were here last week, I was explaining the invisible imp issue that I was having. Like, I haven't seen my imp since like the second week of owning dreams. And so like I've never had an imp, really.
What? That's so sad.
And so like that's how everyone responded last week too. They were like, what? And I'm like, and so I took a picture and posted it online. And MC Alchemist reminded me, he was like, yo, will you reach out to Media Molecule? Because I was being stubborn. I was just like, I don't need to bother him with my little silly issues. And he was like, do that. Tell them what this issue is. And now it's fixed. So for the first time, and no, I'm not gloating about the nomination, but for the first time since getting the nomination for the Impy, I get to see my Impy. And
so that's what that tweet was about?
Yeah, like I could not say it, that like I had no imp. Like
I thought like they had forgotten to give you the Nami imp or something.
No.
You could just never see it.
What did you have instead?
I just had the cursor and a little dot. I had the little dot, like the little top of the antenna. So everything I was doing was just with this dot moving around.
I actually have to
sounds kind of cool.
I have to applaud you to be able to create what you've created without seeing the imp, because that dot can be very difficult to see at certain points when you're dream shaping. And the fact that you didn't have this like, you know, nice fuzzy creature to guide your way is actually quite impressive.
That's and knowing me and my, as Talk said, knowing me and the issues I've had, like since all of this, it's just it's only right that it was me that would have this problem. But yeah, so now it's fixed and I have an imp, and I'm gonna keep my save files, which apparently ended up being the issue. I'm gonna keep those on this hard drive. I'm going to keep them on this hard drive so that if I ever get tired of the imp, I can take it away whenever I want. I have the new hack.
How is it
The hack.
listening to you?
Oh, that's sort of like Masher. No, was Masher Buttons? Was it? No, Sauceless One. Sauceless One like found like a cute glitch. Like if you set like reverb and like certain things involving like setting reverb really high or something. And I think granulation. You can make it that like a sound effect will play and you close the dream and the sound effect is just still playing for like a couple of minutes after.
Oh, wow.
And he made this beautiful thing where he's just like, oh, except, more beautiful. It's like the voice, it's like this choir of heavenly angels that follows you throughout the Dreamiverse for a few minutes after you close it.
Oh, I'm going to be playing around with that as soon as the stream is over.
Yeah.
I think he called it something about gentle curse or something like that.
Gentle curse.
Something like that, yeah. Like those were
like
two of the words in there or something, Yeah, I think so.
I hope it's gentle curse. I will not be happy unless, because I don't know, I just got a shot of like an early 90s like emo metal, like US band.
That would be a great genre.
Yeah.
Like, what do you listen to? Gentle curse.
Gentle curse.
You see class notes fix gentle curse. What?
I need an album.
Like a DJ.
I need an album. Somebody let him know.
All right, is Allie here? That should be like the next Dream Sounds like jam. Gentle curse week.
Yeah, gentle curse.
Yes. Okay. So, before we continue, because we are reaching the end, it's almost been an hour and a half, guys. If y'all want to, we can keep going further past it. I just wanted to let you know, and I do want to open up now. Just talk about it. Do y'all have questions for us? Do you have anything you want to ask each other? Feel free to let it go.
Zodira, how is the ball in a cup game going?
So far so good, but I ran into a hitch with wonderful Dreams physics engine. So at the moment, well, it's almost completely done except for a couple more voice acting clips of me to finally make my room less echoey. I'm sorry for the reverb my room causes. Like fixing or figuring out how I'm going to modify that, the customization menu, because now I want to add the ability to customize the floor and its coloring and what kind of carpet you have, because people deserve shag carpet. But I ran into an issue with the physics where the biggest problem is the fact that I originally tested the ball in the cup mechanics at a massive scale, and shrinking it down to the size of the room causes the ball to lag behind inside of the cup when you move the cup, which looks bad. So I'm basically back in a testing phase for testing to figure this out. If I can't figure out a good way to have it at this small scale, I essentially will just have to scale the room up and mess with the player's camera and raise like the VR scale way up so that
VR.
But I have to test to make sure that raising the VR scale has the same effect, because the biggest issue with having it at a large scale is the cup ends up, massive and 12 times the size of your head, and it's right at you, and you're flinging it, and there's not much room to do anything. But it needs to be the size of a regular ball and cup and down, near where your hand would be. So, you'd be looking down at it and playing, so it's gonna be another couple weeks before people are cupping balls, but hopefully hopefully I'll figure something out. Worst comes to worst, I make the whole scene massive, but I hope I don't have to, because then I have to play with the lighting again, and that's gonna
no.
Oh.
I just love what you've done with it, though. I mean, you've took such a simple idea as ball in a cup, and you've gone crazy with it. Like, you've got this big room. I love the TV menu for changing everything. That's just so cool. Like that old school TV and changing all the settings, how you can change the wallpaper and stuff. You've just gone absolutely mad with it. You've just took, ball in a cup, and you've added all these other features to it. It's really good.
It kind of balloons, because originally it was just going to be a ball in a cup game to be something to publish, because I've never published anything that's just mine. Because originally I was working on that horror game, but I couldn't really get many people to help me with it. So it just took forever installed, and I'm gonna look at it at another date. But it just started as a simple concept, and then I had Keld test it out, and he said it was pretty neat, but he couldn't tell where the ball was really in relation to the cup, so there needed to be a floor. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have it in VR, I also should have a floor and maybe an environment. And I thought, okay, well, if it's going to be in VR, there's going to be a full 360. People going to look around this room. And then randomly one day while watching Mr. Casey Jones's, I can't say his name any other way. He was doing his grandpa voice, and I was just like, I need that for balls. So I just asked him to do a bunch of random things relating to balls in a cup, and in his grandpa voice he did that, and then I was like, this is awesome. And then randomly I'm like, I wonder if Keld wants to do any, and I asked him, and he supplied a bunch. And then I asked Mick Yeager to do some, but he's kind of taking a break from Dreams, so he hasn't supplied his lines yet. But it just kind of balloons, and now I'm at a point where now I have a secret mode that I haven't talked about at all.
Exclusives.
You'll be able to, when it's ready, you'll be able to find a secret option on the menu system that will let you play against the monster from Insane Alpha Beta's horror game.
Oh God!
That he voice acted. Like, basically, just there's the boogeyman, the monster under the bed basically shows up and challenges you to a ball in a cup game. Okay. You'll win if you get a certain amount of cup. If you get a certain amount of points. And
wow.
I don't think you have it to where you can see him, but who knows? I might get carried away and have this ghostly cup in front of you that's playing against you. I don't know.
And is it just VR, or can you play this non-VR as well?
You can play it non-VR. It was originally made to not be in VR. The controls were a bit weird, though. They take some getting used to, but they're completely playable.
Okay.
But making sure it works in VR is actually the test, because it's perfectly ready to go at like a large scale, and I would just have to increase the size of the room, mess with the lighting, and hope it all works just fine. But I do want to shrink that stuff down, and I might find a happy medium where maybe I shrink the ball in a cup down halfway and increase the room size a little bit or something.
Awesome.
So ApesOnFire and JJ, Zelly do, but is there being that both of you kind of exist outside of the creation process? Has there been I guess has the feeling grown to like try to transition over to really just like, instead of just, being not necessarily on the outside, as like you said, done voice work, stuff like that, but have you looked at it and been like, I kind of want to make this thing? Like, have you had that bug bite you yet?
Yes. I'll go first. I remember when I first got Dreams, I wanted to recreate like this old DS game that I absolutely loved and nobody's ever heard of. It's called Magical Star Sign. So if anyone does, go you. And I was actually in Acer's streams, and he was just like, there's no way you can do this because of like the variable limits and stuff like that. And like my hopes and dreams are just like shattered there, like literally.
Oh no.
So I was like,
Oh,
okay.
no.
Also, I had no experience creating at all. And so like I kind of took like a step back and I was like, okay, I want to support the people that like can do that. You know what I mean? Like, because so over time I've kind of done sort of little projects on my own, but they've never got finished besides like What's Your Fortune, and that was mainly just me doing like logic, very simple logic. But I've definitely like just dabbled in it here and there, and mainly when you look at my profile it says design. But I also really like to do like writing and story stuff. So I've helped like people with their games as sort of just like, this is how this story will make sense and stuff like that. And then you don't normally really see that in like, the profile and stuff. So, so it does feel like a lot of behind the scenes sort of work, but I find it really funny.
Okay.
And Apes?
And yeah.
So yeah, I started doing some of the 30-minute challenges, which helped me learn, and quite fun as well. I mean, obviously the things that I was creating were not quite to the standard of what some other people can make in 30 minutes. But it was a really good way to learn really quickly, because I was like, okay, this is what I did last week. I want to add just like one more element into next week's to get a little bit better. So I then, try and learn how to do some of the spray painting, or how to actually sort of edit some of the shapes, and just some really simple stuff. And I need to go back to doing them again regularly because it was a really good way to learn. But I have made, quite a while ago, I made a little sculpt of a spider, which is an emote that some people might put in the chat of my spider. And my little spider is going to be featured in an upcoming game of someone else's soon.
Okay.
The star of, dare I say it, Opposite Day 10.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
There's my spider.
Oh, that's exciting. Ooh,
Interesting.
fun.
Yeah, so I mean that's really. Oh, also for my Twitch channel, I did make myself some nice little, starting soon and be right back scenes that I can switch to, because I'd seen other people on Twitch with like really, really fancy ones, and thinking I'm gonna have to pay someone for, some sort of animated be right back screen, just to try and make my Twitch channel look professional. And then it just hit me one day. I was like, oh my goodness, I could make one in Dreams.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. I was so happy with it. I just threw
That's how I
together.
made mine.
Yeah, I had it in my head what I wanted, and then I just searched a bunch of random assets and just threw them all together. I was like, done. It's great.
Yeah. And that's another great thing about Dreams, just dragging and dropping stuff in and just making something out of, all the Dreamiverse assets. I absolutely love doing that. I mean, I'm absolutely terrible at creating, as anybody would tell you. I have nothing released that's original at all. And I just love messing around dream shaping, just dragging a load of random stuff together and plopping all together and making a scene out of nothing and then to something within 10 minutes. It's just so cool to just mess around with.
Well, I'm learning to get over myself and do that. So that's been my big thing. It's not necessarily that I don't want to use something that's better than anything I could do. It's more so that it's just like there's this thing where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And it's like as a one-man army, it's just the dumbest possible way you could possibly try to do something. And it's like me getting over this thing of like, no, you make it, and then you do it well, you learn, and that's how if you want it, you make it. And it's like I can't remember who it was, but it was a few episodes ago where somebody was saying that, it was Scott. From I can't believe I can't remember the Dark Tales.
Tales from Darktown.
Yes, there you go. Jesus Christ, my brain. And he was just saying there are people in the Dreamiverse where it's like they are obsessed with making the best table or the best chair, or like that's what they are focused on. And it's like, so you have to balance what's more important to you. Like, is it more important to you to use your time to get this thing out, or to try yourself to make the best chair when you're just not good at it? And I mean, honestly, that's what it comes down to for me. It's like, I ain't talking about nobody else. Like, there are certain things I don't have the patience for because I see the big picture. And so when you see the big picture, it's really hard to focus on some of the little details. And so like I'm getting to that point where I'm kind of coming into the director aspect of my persona in Dreams, where it's just like outside of Dreams, director, screenwriter, producer, and I have to start thinking like that in Dreams, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I need the props guy to get to put the chairs where they need to be. Like I need the, I can actually divvy it up like that to make it easy for myself. And instead of making it the hardest game ever for me while still loving it and hating me. So
I can kind of relate to sort of that feeling of sort of guilt in a way for using other people's stuff, because I was a bit worried, because obviously if you make something in Dreams with other people's assets, then you can see within there, oh, this is from this and this person made this. Whereas I just did a screen recording of a bunch of things that I put together and then put that on my Twitch. And I'm worried that someone is at some point going to have a look at my Be Right Back screen and be like, oi, that's my rock. How dare you? How dare you take my rock that I made in Dreams and use it for your Be Right Back screen on Twitch?
Yeah, but isn't that the whole point of making something to the Dreamiverse though anyway? Like it's they create them to be used. That's the whole point of it. So if anything, they should be like grateful that someone's used it for their Twitch. Like if I made something, uploaded to the Dreamiverse, and someone used it for their Be Right Back card on Twitch, I'd be like, oh my god, they've used the thing that I made. It's on Twitch. Look, something I made is on screen. That's so good.
I just want to say, if anybody comes out and they're that cute about it, just say just be like, aw, and then just forget they said anything. They're like, oi, and just like, what the hey. Sorry, that was just, I was like, is that what they do there? Are they that polite? Because people come out like swinging over here. Oi.
I guess.
Oh man, that's awesome. May we all have such gentle enemies. I love it. It's adorable. Anyway. So Zelly, your thoughts on this whole thing? I mean, I've been noticing you in the corner. I didn't forget about you over there, but you look like you wanted to say something a few times.
Oh, when?
Yeah, like there was a never mind. No, that was just a point while JJ was talking where you like it looked like you were about to explode with like I want to say something. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Hey.
No, probably. I mean, I'm also very hungry.
Well, guys, we have that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Like I get hangry. Like you're about to see the sulky. You're gonna see why my tardigrade is sulky tardigrade.
We're gonna see angry beans in a moment.
Angry,
Yes.
yeah.
Just lead with the oi. Anyway, so
I'm gonna have the oi in my hooligan game if I get around to building it. I'm gonna have like there's gonna be little cops that are like little foosball cops, and they'll like come at you and be like oi 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 with like a little nightstick, and you have to like.
please let ApesOnFire voice them, all of them.
Okay.
All of
Yes.
them. It'll just be confusing to the player. Like, am I running from them? Do I? No, but
Be very gentle riding.
But I would like to thank everyone that was here. I really do appreciate speaking with the wonderful women of dreams. Hopefully I'll be able to have you all on again at some point. I believe Zodira, I believe we're still speaking with you next week, right? As a solo? I believe we are. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, it's all right. Well,
we're gonna know so much more about logic and stuff. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, we need a deep dive into the logic.
Yeah, we're gonna hand it over to Zodira so that she can just straight up tell us. Which reminds me, Yaffer asked the question earlier as to what's your favorite gadget in Dreams, Zodira?
That would be the variable. Probably.
The variable. And next week she'll tell you why. No, because if you're like me, you have no idea what the hell she's talking about. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I hope you had fun, and you are all welcome to come back and speak one-on-one regarding anything dreams, or maybe we'll for those that didn't see. That reminded me. For those that didn't see, I posted on Twitter about some people that I've asked to be on the podcast are completely turned off because of the length of the podcast. And so we're throwing around the idea of doing one-on-one interviews with just random creators, where if you have a reel or if you want to go over one of your creations, we'll just do a one-on-one that's like 15 minutes that we can basically just do it anytime to fit people's schedules, and that way we have a lot of time to just go deep dive into a specific thing for those that have questions. So we're looking into doing that, as well as a few other things we still have to keep close to the chest right now. But thank you everyone for being here. Love all of you. And any final words for the peoples from y'all while I get everything straight over here?
Just love the whole Dreams community. Oh yeah.
All I got on my
Yeah, follow. Yeah.
Wee!
Follow this.
All right. Well, then with that, ladies and gentlemen,
Follow
I'm
my
gonna
Twitch.
follow her Twitch. It is great. It is great. And
when I randomly appear.
Indeed. So with that, love everybody. We are out.
See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.